Welcome to another episode of CXO Leadership. Today I want to explore a topic that I think is of great importance to any young IT executive leader. And the topic is understanding data center tiers. As a young IT executive leader, it is important that you understand the basic differences between tiers. Why? Because you might find yourself responsible for a team that perhaps it thinks that it has a particular level of service or data center tier. You need to be able to understand and in some cases validate the data center tier your infrastructure or system administrator team is responsible for. But first, a word from our sponsors. AITS Corp helps organizations in healthcare, nonprofit, K through 12, and higher education protect sensitive and irreplaceable data, whether it is one computer or many physical or virtual servers. AITS Corp Enterprise Backups can help. The HIPAA, FERPA, and SOX compliant backups help protect your data from loss and ransomware. Get started today. Simply write to info@aitscorp.us, call 240-396-2111, or visit www.aitscorp.us. Don't wait to suffer a loss before you start backing up your data. Now back to today's topic, understanding the different data center tiers as an executive leader. So here's the reason. As a leader, you need to understand the different data center tiers because you, in some cases, will need to validate the tier your data center or data centers fall under. In some cases, it will be your responsibility to help and guide your directors or managers. Ultimately, you are also responsible to make sure that the services, products, and or resources your organization provides meet the level of uptime that is required. It is also your responsibility as a leader to help your executive leadership understand the true state of your data center and data center stack within your organization. So let's get to it. What's a tier 1 data center? A tier 1 data center has 99.671 uptime per year, which amounts to 28.8 hours of downtime or less per year. A tier 1 data center has zero redundancies in power and cooling. This means that you only have one source for power, you have one source for cooling. If one of these goes down, your technology might go down. So that's really what this means. And so it is pretty easy to understand. There are a lot of organizations that have data center or technology closets or rooms that are really not data centers. And in reality, there's just mostly a space where they decide to put a rack in and put some servers on and just figure out how to provide power to that hardware. But in reality, it is not a tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 data center. It's a tier 1. Again, no redundancies at all. A tier 2 data center has 99.741% uptime per year, which amounts to 22 hours of downtime or less per year. It also has partial cooling and multiple power redundancies. Finally, a tier 2 data center has redundancies, but it is not fault tolerant. So as an IT executive leader, you need to understand the difference between redundancy and fault tolerance. All right, that's going to help you understand and discern between between the different technologies and the current state of the data center within your organization, office or offices. A tier 3 data center has 99.982% uptime per year, which amounts to 1.6 hours of downtime or less per year. It has 72 hours of protection from power outages. Now, this is important because A tier 3 data center is the first tier data center that gives you uh, multiple days of power. So even if the power goes out around your data center should be capable of running the equipment that's within that data center for 72 hours, minimum of 72 hours. There's also a tier 3 data center also has an N+1 fault tolerance. What does this mean? This means that proactive maintenance in the data center environment will not incur downtime. Any proactive maintenance on the servers or power or cooling means that you will be able to do, or your team will be able to complete this work without bringing any of the systems down, right? You still follow your proper change management, you notified users, but again, there's no downtime that's incurred with that. A tier 4 data center has 99.995 uptime per year, which amounts to 26.3 minutes of downtime or less per year. A tier 4 data center has 96 hours of protection from power outages. And this is important, and it has 0 points of failure. And finally, a tier 4 data center has 2 N+1 infrastructure. This means that there are 2 times the amount required for operations plus backup. And this is known as being fully redundant. Well, that is all for now. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to comment and let me know what other areas within the tier data center are important for young IT executive leaders to keep in mind as they learn to become better and better leaders each day. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.